Welcome back everyone. If you caught our last video, you know we're deep into a critical conversation about the future of your money and your freedom. We dissected the fragile state of the US dollar and exposed how central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, are being meticulously prepared to take its place. This isn't about an upgrade, it's about a takeover, a system designed for total control. Today in part 2, we're peeling back another layer of this agenda. We're going to dismantle the number one argument they use to sell this to you: convenience. The mainstream media, the big financial institutions, the politicians, they all sing the same tune. CBDCs are about progress, innovation, making your life easier. They paint this picture of a utopia with instant payments, seamless transactions, and a world without the hassle of physical cash. It's a very appealing story, isn't it? Who wouldn't want things to be faster and more efficient? But this narrative is a beautifully constructed illusion. It's a Trojan horse, presented as a gift, designed to be welcomed with open arms before revealing its true, menacing purpose. They're remarketing a world where every purchase is as simple as a tap of your phone or maybe even a biometric scan. A world where your finances are managed effortlessly through a single government-backed app. For most of us, already comfortable with services like Apple Pay, Venmo, or just our debit cards, this transition to a digital dollar is being framed as the logical next step. It feels natural, almost inevitable. And that's exactly what they want you to think. But this is where the sleight of hand occurs. There's a fundamental difference between the digital money you use now and a CBDC. Your current digital transactions are intermediated. They flow through commercial banks like Chase or Bank of America, and payment processors like Visa or MasterCard. These companies act as a buffer, a layer of separation between you and the ultimate monetary authority, the central bank. A CBDC obliterates that buffer. It's not just another app on your phone. It's a direct liability of the central bank. Your money would exist on a centralized government ledger. This isn't a minor technical detail. It's a seismic shift in the architecture of finance and, more importantly, in the balance of power between the individual and the state. It grants the government a direct real-time, all-access pass to your entire financial life. Every coffee you buy, every book you read, every donation you make, every trip you take, all of it recorded, tracked, and analyzed on a government server. Think about the implications. This isn't just about catching tax evaders or stopping criminals, which is the pretext they will surely use. This is about creating a system of unprecedented surveillance and social engineering. This is where the concept of programmable money comes into play. It's a term they try to downplay, but it's the core feature of this entire system. Programmable money means your money can come with rules attached. Imagine trying to buy a plane ticket, but your digital wallet says transaction denied because UVA exceeded your carbon allowance for the month. Imagine trying to buy more than 2 sodas a week, but the system blocks the purchase to enforce public health goals. Imagine your funds being frozen instantly because you attended a protest or posted something online that the government deemed misinformation. This isn't a dystopian movie script. This is the explicit capability they are building. Your money could be programmed to expire if you do unspend it fast enough to stimulate the economy. It could be restricted from being used on certain goods, like firearms, ammunition, or even certain types of food. They could link it directly to a social credit system. Favorable behavior gets you financial perks. Undesirable behavior gets you locked out of the economy. The power to influence and coerce behavior becomes absolute. It moves beyond the rule of law and into the realm of algorithmic control, where a bureaucrat can change your financial reality with a few keystrokes, with no due process. This is why the war on cash is so critical to their plan. Every time you see a sign that says card only, every time a bank branch closes, every time you're nudged toward digital payments, you're witnessing another brick being laid on the path to a CBDC. Cash is anonymous. Cash is private. Cash is final. It represents financial freedom in its purest form. It's the last bastion against this all-seeing digital panopticon. As long as cash exists, we have an escape route, an alternative. Once it's gone, the digital walls close in, and there's no way out. The illusion of convenience is the bait in the trap. They're rebanking on the idea that we will willingly trade our freedom for a slightly faster checkout experience. They are counting on us not looking past the shiny new app to see the digital chains being forged. Our current system, for all its flaws, still preserves a degree of privacy and autonomy. We have a choice in how we pay and who we bank with. A CBDC monorail system eliminates that choice. It centralizes power in a way that would make history's most ambitious tyrants envious. So, what do we do? The first and most crucial step is to shatter this illusion. We have to spread this knowledge. We have to talk to our friends, our family, our neighbors. We have to make them understand that the convenience of a CBDC comes at the unbearable cost of our privacy and our freedom. We need to demand that our representatives legislate protections against this, to ban the creation of a retail CBDC, and we need to consciously use cash whenever possible. Every cash transaction is a small vote for freedom, a small act of defiance against this march toward total control. This isn't a partisan issue. It's a human issue. It's about preserving the right to live our lives without every single action being monitored, judged, and controlled by a central authority. The pitch is convenience, but the product is controlled. Don't fall for the illusion. Recognize the Trojan horse for what it is, and refuse to let it inside the gates. In our next and final part of this series, we're going to pivot from the problem to the solution. We'll explore the real, tangible alternatives we can embrace to protect our wealth and our sovereignty in the face of this threat. We'll discuss decentralized technologies, precious metals, and strategies for building resilient, parallel economies outside of their control grid. The future is not yet written, and we have the power to choose a different path. Thank you for tuning in and for your commitment to understanding these critical issues. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you don't miss the final installment. Please share this video far and wide. The more people who wake up to this reality, the better our chances are of stopping it. See you in the next one. We've peeled back the layers on the CBDC Trojan horse, and what we've found is chilling. The shiny promise of digital convenience comes with a heavy, hidden price, unprecedented surveillance, and the potential for absolute control over your life. Imagine this: the very money in your pocket, or rather, on your device, could be programmed. It could be monitored, your every transaction scrutinized, and in the most extreme cases, it could be frozen or even erased with the flip of a switch. When your money can be controlled like that, your financial freedom is no longer yours. And when you lose financial freedom, your personal autonomy, your ability to make your own choices, is fundamentally compromised. This isn't some distant dystopian fantasy. It's the potential reality we're facing. So, the crucial question becomes, how do we build a fortress of financial independence when the digital world threatens to chain us? How do we protect our wealth and our freedom? This brings us to what I call the imperative for tangible freedom. It's about moving beyond the digital ledger and reclaiming true ownership of what is rightfully yours. For generations, physical assets have been the ultimate store of value. They've been a shield against central control, a safe harbor in times of storm. And today, their importance is making a powerful resurgence. And for a very good reason. Think about it. A digital dollar, a CBDC, can be turned off with a single command, but a physical ounce of gold, a silver coin in your hand, a piece of real estate that you own, those are assets you can literally hold. Their value cannot be erased by a line of code or confiscated with a digital command from some distant, faceless authority. Now, I want to be clear. This isn't about fear-mongering. This is about empowerment. It's about empowering you with knowledge, with strategies to build a resilient financial future. We're talking about reevaluating our relationship with money, understanding that true wealth often lies in its physicality or in its decentralized nature. Let's dive into why precious metals, like gold and silver, have served humanity as reliable stores of value for millennia. For thousands of years, through the rise and fall of empires, through wars and economic collapses, gold and silver have preserved wealth. Why? Because they are finite. You can't just print more gold. They are universally recognized. A gram of gold in Asia is the same as a gram of gold in America, and they have no counterparty risk. A gold coin in your safe doesn't depend on a bank's solvency or a government's promise. It's pure, unadulterated value. During times of economic instability, when fiat currencies get devalued by endless money printing, people flock to gold. During times of governmental overreach, when capital controls are implemented and freedoms are curtailed, physical precious metals offer a way to preserve wealth outside the system. They are the ultimate financial insurance policy. Holding them isn't about getting rich quick. It's about not getting poor slowly. It's a defensive move, a way to anchor your portfolio against the storms of inflation and control. But the story doesn't end with ancient metals. The same desire for freedom that drove people to gold thousands of years ago has sparked a modern revolution. This is the counter-movement to centralization, truly decentralized cryptocurrencies, and at the forefront of this movement is Bitcoin. Bitcoin was born from the ashes of the 2008 financial crisis. It was created precisely out of the desire for a monetary system independent of central banks and governmental manipulation. Unlike a CBDC, which is the ultimate form of centralized control, Bitcoin is the ultimate form of decentralization. There is no CEO of Bitcoin. There is no central server to shut down. No government can single-handedly change its rules or freeze your assets without your private keys. Bitcoin operates on a global peer-to-peer network. It's secured by cryptography and the collective power of its users, not by the decree of a central authority. It represents a digital form of scarcity, much like gold. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. This inherent scarcity makes it a potential hedge against the inflation that plagues our traditional monetary system. It's a bearer asset, meaning if you control the keys, you control the funds. It offers financial sovereignty in a digital age, a parallel system that exists beyond the reach of the traditional banking and government apparatus. Now, let's be realistic. The crypto world can be volatile, and it comes with its own set of risks and a steep learning curve. But its core principle of decentralization offers a powerful alternative to the encroaching surveillance of CBDCs. It's another crucial tool in our toolbox for financial freedom. So, what's the game plan? How do we build this fortress? The answer is diversification. Not the old-school diversification of just stocks and bonds, but a modern, more robust diversification that includes assets outside the traditional system. The goal is to build a diversified portfolio that is resilient, not reliant on any single central authority. This means having a portion of your wealth in assets you can physically hold. This could be gold and silver coins or bars, stored securely where you can access them. It gives you a bedrock of value that is immune to digital manipulation or power outages. It also means considering an allocation to truly decentralized digital assets, like Bitcoin. By holding your own keys, you participate in a global, censorship-resistant financial network. This gives you a hedge against systemic risks and a way to transact freely across borders. And of course, this doesn't mean abandoning traditional assets entirely. Things like real estate, productive land, or even owning a stake in a resilient business can also be part of a robust strategy. The key is balance and intentionality. The goal is not to have all your eggs in one basket, especially if that basket is being held by someone who can take the eggs away at any moment. We are at a crossroads. One path leads towards a future of convenience wrapped in control, a world of programmable money and digital surveillance. The other path leads towards financial sovereignty, a future where you maintain ownership and control over your wealth and, by extension, your life. The time to fortify your financial future is now. Don't wait until the digital walls close in. Start learning, start planning, start taking small, deliberate steps to build your fortress of independence. Begin by embracing assets that exist and thrive beyond the reach of the encroaching digital ledger. Your freedom may depend on it. Thanks for watching. If this conversation is important to you, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into protecting your wealth and liberty. See you next time. Alright everyone, we've pulled back the curtain on this idea of digital convenience. We've seen how it can sometimes be a trap, and we've talked about why real, tangible freedom is so incredibly important, especially when it comes to our money. Now, it's time to get practical. We're moving beyond the theory and into the action. I'm going to walk you through concrete, actionable strategies you can start using today to protect your wealth and maintain your financial independence in a world that's becoming more and more controlled. This isn't about fear, it's about preparation. It's about building a solid foundation of financial resilience so you can navigate whatever the future holds. First up, let's talk about something timeless, something that has proven its worth for thousands of years: physical precious metals. I'm talking about gold and silver. For centuries, these metals have been a universal store of value. They're real, they're tangible, and you can hold them in your hand. They can't be hacked, they can't be traced through a digital ledger, and most importantly, they can't be devalued overnight by a single decision made by a central bank. Think about it. A central bank digital currency, or CBDC, could theoretically be programmed, controlled, or even switched off. Your physical gold, it can't. It exists outside that system entirely. So, here's your first actionable step. Seriously consider allocating a portion of your savings into physical gold and silver. And I mean physical, not paper certificates, not ETFs, but actual coins or bars that you own directly. Your first task is to research reputable dealers. Look for companies with a long track record and positive reviews. When you buy, you'll have a choice between coins like American Eagles or Canadian Maple Leafs, and bars of various sizes. The key is to get something you can physically possess. Now, once you have it, where do you put it? This is crucial. You need to think about secure, private storage that's outside of the traditional banking system. A safe deposit box at a bank might seem like an obvious choice, but it ties your physical asset back into the very system you're trying to gain independence from. Instead, you could explore private vault services, which are non-bank entities that specialize in storing precious metals. Or, depending on your situation and how much you have, secure home storage might be an option. A high-quality, well-hidden safe can be a very effective solution. The goal here is simple. Keep these assets physically within your control and out of the reach of any digital system that could one day lock you out. This is your personal, offline financial foundation. Next, let's pivot from the ancient to the modern. We're going to talk about the new frontier of financial independence, truly decentralized cryptocurrencies now. I need to be very clear here. I'm not talking about the thousands of different digital tokens out there, many of which are highly centralized or speculative. I'm specifically referring to assets like Bitcoin. Why Bitcoin? Because it operates on a global decentralized network. There is no CEO, no central authority, no single point of failure that can be pressured or shut down. Its supply is fixed and predictable. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. This makes it a powerful hedge against the infinite money printing we see with traditional currencies and a strong counterpoint to the idea of a programmable, centrally controlled CBDC. So, here's your second actionable step, and it's a big one. Educate yourself. You need to learn how to acquire and, most importantly, how to self-custody your Bitcoin. Self-custody is the key to everything here. It means you, and only you, control the private keys to your funds. There's a saying in the crypto world, not your keys, not your coins. If you leave your Bitcoin on an exchange or a centralized platform, you're trusting someone else with your money. You're right back to asking for permission to access your own wealth. To achieve true sovereignty, you need a hardware wallet. This is a small physical device that keeps your private keys completely offline, disconnected from the internet and safe from hackers. When you set up a hardware wallet, you'll be given a seed phrase, a list of 12 or 24 words. This phrase is the master key to your entire wallet. You must write it down and store it securely, offline, in multiple secret locations. Never store it digitally, never take a picture of it, and never share it with anyone. By learning how to manage your own keys and your seed phrase, you literally become your own bank. You can send and receive value anywhere in the world, at any time, without needing permission from anyone. This is a game-changing skill for anyone serious about financial autonomy. And while you're at it, you might want to look into other privacy-focused cryptocurrencies like Monero, which are designed from the ground up to make transactions untraceable. Finally, let's expand our thinking beyond just financial assets. True resilience is about diversifying into things that have real-world, tangible value and strengthening your local connections. This means looking at assets like land, real estate, and even developing essential skills that can support you and your family no matter what is happening in the global economy. It's also about building strong community ties. The more connected you are to your local economy, the less dependent you are on fragile, centralized global supply chains and digital payment systems. Here's your third actionable step. Look into diversifying your portfolio with tangible assets. For some, this might mean investing in income-generating rental properties. For others, it could be buying a small piece of agricultural land that you could use to grow food. These are assets that can't just disappear from a computer screen. Beyond that, actively work on building your local network. Get to know your neighbors. Support local farmers and businesses. Explore local trade or barter networks. Even small things, like being able to trade garden vegetables with a neighbor who can fix your car. Create a web of resilience that operates completely outside the centralized system. The more you can rely on your local community, the more insulated you are from disruptions on a larger scale. Look, the path forward is uncertain, and there are big changes happening in the financial world. But sitting back and hoping for the best is not a strategy. Inaction is the biggest risk of all. The power is in your hands to do something about it. By strategically diversifying into physical precious metals, by embracing true digital decentralization through self-custody of assets like Bitcoin, and by strengthening your local independence with tangible assets and community bonds, You are building your own lifeboat. You are taking proactive steps to secure your financial sovereignty and ensure your freedom. No matter which way the winds of the global financial system blow, this is your call to action. Knowledge is your power, and taking strategic action is how you secure your freedom. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this information valuable, please give this video a thumbs up, and consider subscribing to the channel for more content on how to protect your freedom and build a resilient future. Stay prepared, and I'll see you in the next video.